And there we are.
Good evening, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Messy Monday on Old Gray Bricks, and we have most of our usual crew here. We got Just Jeff, we got Pink Wheels, we got Troubles Working, Falconer 18, not 17, but 18. We got Jeff VW from representing Canada, and we have Dan R, our longtime old school, very old timer that Chris and I know from way back.
Way back. Not that we're old.
Like the Lugnet days. We're going way back, man.
Yeah.
In the chat, we got Classic Bricks. Hello. And Will Hafner. Hello. I go way back with Will Hafner. I've known him since he was a very small child. His dad used to, I'm friends with his dad out in Seattle, and his dad used to bring him and his siblings to some of our Lego meets and things, and, you know, tiny little kid would walk up and, you know, can I see that? So, Brian Pennebaker, hello. So, let's see. What are we doing this evening? Why don't we just start with Jeff? Jeff, what are you doing? This is a Lego show, Jeff.
And Jeff is doing his Marcel Marceau impersonation this evening.
Is it me or other Jeff?
Two Jeffs.
He said
Which Jeff squared?
I'm sorry.
The test has to be specific.
But I'm sorry, the Just Jeff. Sorry, I was
Top row Jeff.
top of my screen and right next to me is Jeff.
So this week I finished out my white spaceship because I don't know what colors are, as opposed to the color challenge that Chris proposed. I've got a very angry dash hound in the room with me, apparently. That's okay. So yeah, very sturdy. Doesn't fall apart. Everything's fine. So yeah, it's basically, there's nothing special. There's some snot techniques that I cheated on, but I think the stupidest thing that I'm most proud of is that what Rick Brickham showed me on one of his builds was the control cockpit. And so, like, this is just poo-poo, whatever. I don't care. It's built. It's done. But this is what I really like. I never thought about using guns as control sticks before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this was a revolutionary. I found the holy grail. What have I been doing with my life situation? So, yeah.
Fun.
Also, working on a police station. I don't want to show the police station off. And Doc, I don't have anything else to show off, or I would. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's Messy Monday. We're just rambling about stuff.
I have a question about the challenge.
Yes.
What about figs? If you have figs in your spaceship, do they have to be in the colors prescribed?
So the way that Chris has explained it, that this is more like Chopped versus Absolute. So if you ever watched Chopped, the cooking show,
Of course, but there's a lot of, there's the person that like puts a little like orange zest on top of their meal and says they've used an orange.
and you know what the judges go? They go, They go, It's got to be, it's got to be mostly orange, gray, dark gray, and sand green, and your transparent spaces have to be mostly clear. But if you need to add in a little bit here and there of something else, you can do that.
So the fig could be like a classic white space person.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Because the ship is the focus.
Well, because there is no classic sand green. Oh, there is orange. We do have. I'm going to use an orange. I just have a few.
I was going to say, there is an orange spaceman.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's
I
no
don't
orange.
think the fig's part of it anyway.
Well, it doesn't have to be an orange spaceman because Star Wars has orange pilot suits, or going back to the old. My brain just went blank on me here. The mech things from
Exo Squad?
Force.
Or no, Galaxy Squad. Galaxy Squad.
Yeah, Exo
Yeah,
Force.
there was like an orange Galaxy Squad guy.
And then also, if you recall that the retro spaceman from the CMF, he's got a sand green to him as well.
Yeah, I don't
There's
have
also a
retro
sand
space
green
guy.
Iron Man who is very space.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Natalie won't let me use him. That's Natalie's fig.
What do they call it? The undersea Iron Man suit or something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Just make sure Natalie's not in the Lego basement when you use her Iron Man figure.
Yeah, she has like a second sense of like if I touch her figs, it's Mom.
Just wait till she goes to sleep. Take your mock pictures. Put it back.
So you're touching my mini pigs.
She knows.
Also,
It's like when you try to throw out some old toys, like all parents know, like, you're there and it's just like critical mass and you have to throw something out and, you start working through it, getting it together for donation and your kids come over and they're like, you're like destroying their childhood because you're throwing out like baby blocks.
I need to keep that.
Yes, I need to keep that. This means something to me. I still play with that.
Look, I'm playing with it right now.
Exactly. See?
But we do a bit of a rule in our house when something like that comes up. You're using my stuff, Dad. Well, are you paying rent? No? It's really kind of mine.
I like that style.
Yeah.
I used that one on Paul the other evening. Or maybe it was this weekend when we were on our Peach Lug chat. He said something, and I said, I told him, well, you know what? I paid for it, so.
It's mine now.
Yeah.
Usually on stuff that's usually food related, and she doesn't want to give me a bite, I say it's the mom tax.
Yeah.
Mom
I
tax.
work on figures.
There are definitely taxes, especially on things like chips and fries.
Yes, ice cream, cupcakes, anything chocolate.
The ice cream tax is very expensive. It's like 50%, I think.
I'm more like 25%, and then Brian will come in and take the dad tax, and then there's not much left.
No wonder she gets cranky.
Okay, so how about Canadian Jeff? What are you up to this evening?
Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to switch cameras.
Blame Canada.
I got 2 cameras now. So
Sweet.
this is yesterday's camera.
Oh, wow, that's
Everyone.
Or
much
last week's
easier.
camera, but that doesn't work.
That's
Hold on, let me just tilt the screen because that won't work. Oh, figures the screen doesn't tilt that way. All right, well, I'm still figuring that out. This is my old camera. I got the new one. The other one.
But I think we can see quite a bit of it, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bit better now.
That works.
So I'm been working on my display. I built a third module, or started building a third module that I can pop that out and work with it and put something else new in or different in. I figured that would be a good way to change it up if I wanted to.
Cool.
But originally I was going to have a ship sitting here, my cargo ship, which I'm going to rebuild a bit because this one's kind of old, gray, and old. It doesn't really fit though.
So
Mhm,
can I make a request or a suggestion?
of course.
I think it would be cool because I love the fact that you have that section that's removable.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that this could be sitting on something where there is an actual hole underneath it that could turn into some sort of like elevated platform that can go up and down maybe?
That was my thought. I've always the painter I have kind of on the other side of the room. I did the same thing where it was removable enough that I could change it out, kind of do like remove that and have like a bay door closed instead.
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Ripley or the Aliens 2
Mhm.
or Aliens. You know.
Ripley!
Yeah, pretty much. I thought that was the reference you were using, but I wasn't quite sure. So I was thinking about that. Obviously, for my drawer display or for my shelf display, I'm not going to have that happen. But it's something I was thinking about in the future. I could do.
Cool.
Like even have a shelf below that has, like a ship painter.
Yeah.
Something like
That's
that.
what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah. That's in the brain. I'm also thinking. So now I'm actually thinking, because I have a lot of cargo containers. I was actually thinking of like stacking cargo containers over here and maybe along this side,
Mhm.
leaving a path open for some kind of a vehicle to move the containers, and then open this side up a bit more to go to the next shelf, which is where the hanger will be with that ship and a few of my smaller fighters type thing.
Nice.
So that's what I was thinking, but I kind of really like the look of this, and tearing it apart is, is well, I won't say scary, but I don't want to tear it apart. I have pictures. I can rebuild it again. I know, but
But yeah, it is always it is always a little pucker factor when you're like, do I really want to take this apart?
Yeah. So, and I'm out of dark gray tiles, so I'm also trying to figure out if I can use the larger tiles and still have room for cargo containers here. I might extend this out a few more studs. That it'll actually sit outside of the shelf a little bit, but I think that'll give me a little bit more space. But anyways, things I'm thinking of and I'll be working on today. I'll switch back to regular cam.
Coolio.
Alrighty. Well,
So-
what? we haven't seen Dan in a while. What's going on, Dan?
Hey, so I've been working on. You might have seen I've been posting up on Instagram all the various color versions I did of this old mecha robot.
Yeah.
Not good at holding it. So I've been found there's some new tiles or wedges in those colors and started working on some new ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
So getting the gold in there, a little medium blue. Gonna have some fun with that. And
Hey,
they're like really bling it out.
Friends crossovers are the best.
They're fun. And I got to see if my daughter has a Mrs. Potts because I think that's the perfect pilot for this. Speaking of stealing temporarily Lego from our children.
Just don't tell her,
Which she don't know she won't hurt her.
I actually asked her and she's like, I have one of those? I don't know if I have one of those.
You tipped your hand. You shouldn't have even asked.
Well, the problem is her Lego is not so organized. But she usually knows where it is.
Yeah, it's funny. We actually do have one of the Disney sets. We have Moana with Maui and the boat, because when that movie came out, I got that set for Paul, and he thought it was neat and played with it. And then that was at some point the moment came where he had the thought, oh no, this is a girl's thing and I don't want to play with it anymore. And I'm like, where are you getting this from? Like no one in this house told you that. And yeah, so it's now sits on a shelf and I don't know.
Now you can use Maui in a mock.
Well, possibly, or Moana.
In our household, it's all one universe: Disney, Star Wars, F1. She stole my F1 minifigs.
I tried to suggest to Paul that Scoob and the gang could help the Hidden Side kids do some ghost.
That would be a great crossover.
That would have been a perfect crossover.
I agree, but Paul would not stand for that. He said they are not on the same cartoon.
You need to show him those old Scooby-Doo cartoons where the Harlem Globetrotters would show up, Batman and Robin would show up.
Yeah. In the cartoons. He loves classic Scooby-Doo.
Because the crossover, those were the best. I mean, the Three Stooges.
Maybe he didn't know that some of those other ones were also old cartoons. And it was two cartoons merging.
The what?
The monkeys.
Yeah, and Batman and Robin showed up in one.
I remember that one too.
Yep. Batman and Robin one was good.
Yep, that was always fun.
Kid doesn't know what's missing.
So Will says, "Is he against mixing fleshies and yellow skin?" No, that we did not draw that line. It's simply that the characters don't occupy the same universe, I guess, according to him. So,
however, I think Brett, or was that the Will? Yeah, no, that's a very interesting topic, though. That's like mixing the streams.
I suggested that Ghostbusters could help too, and he was not a fan of that idea.
That's a good one too.
You know what you need to do? You need to. Does he plays on a mobile device, doesn't he?
Yeah, he uses he has his own iPad that he uses to play the Hidden Side game.
Have you tried installing the Lego Legacy Heroes Unboxed?
No,
because it's a cute little game. It might be a little. I don't know if it might be a little, but no, it should be all right for him. But it mixes all the themes together, so your team could be something from everywhere. Might change his perspective.
Well, I mean, look at the original Lego movie.
Exactly. all the master builders were
Michelangelo and Michelangelo.
Well, see, the thing is, you guys don't have to convince me. You have to convince
I
me.
know.
Oh, I know that. I know.
I'm just saying that I side with Small Paul in this case. You don't mix and match.
The universes.
Ghostbusters are Ghostbusters, and those Hidden Side kids are just nerds with cell phones. It's dumb.
Parts are parts.
Jeff,
So
were you
what about-
those kids whose food couldn't touch on the plate, and they had
Still
to?
am.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jeff.
how do you feel about Neapolitan ice cream?
I don't like Neapolitan ice cream. What's up?
I was watching you on the Bionicle stream. You were all about making your own adventures versus having Bionicle tell you the story. I mean, making the own adventures is, hooking up, Kimi Räikkönen. I don't know why he's there in his Ferrari getup with, I think he's over there with Princess Aurora right now, and Peter Pan.
Bionicle doesn't matter. That's all I have to say.
It's weird. I still don't get it, but hey, that's your flavor of Lego. That's your flavor of Lego.
The only exception to a crossover I've ever been really, really happy about was the DC and Marvel one back in the 90s, and the Transformer and Ghostbuster IDW comic crossover that happened recently, like last year. That's the only time it's allowed.
Transformers and Ghostbusters.
I even have the Transformer from that comic. It's great. His name is Ectotron. Turns into Ecto-1. And if you have $300, you can buy an Optimus Prime that is in the Ghostbuster colors with trailer.
Pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass. Hard pass.
Same, because Hasbro's horrible.
I understand, Jeff, because I have the Time Machine Transformer named Gigawatt.
I really want that one. I can't find it in stores, though. I'm really dreading having to order it from Big Bad Toy Store. We'll see
Is
what
it a
happens.
DeLorean?
Yeah.
It's the
I
Time
have a
Machine.
T-shirt of that, and it's named Marty McPrime on the T-shirt from like 10 years ago.
And it was wasn't that like one of the brick box shirts or something?
I don't know. It's not a Lego one. I got it on.
Yeah, so I think it's probably the same thing. Like the guys who did the Brick Fest, who kind of took that over, they had a mail, a monthly mail order box that you could get that would come with a T-shirt. I think I have that same shirt from that as well.
Could be. Mine's from like Ripped Apparel or something, but
Somebody else probably stole the said, oh,
somebody, yeah. But it had like orange, like it was wearing the vest in robot mode.
Daniel, are you still doing that monthly box thing, or did that end?
Oh no, that died a long time ago.
Was it fun, or did you get tired of it?
Really, all I was getting it for was the shirt, and if they had something that was kind of cool, kitschy in there, but the cool kitschy kind of wore off, and the shirts kind of got meh. So I said, pass.
And then you have to find a place to pull that stuff that's coming to your house every month.
Well, wait till you see his shirt collection.
Hey, I was gonna say,
I'm working on downsizing my shirt collection right now, actually.
well, I didn't do it in 2020 because it was, well, I could have, but I was doing other things, and so I just said, I'm gonna skip a year. But the 5 years prior, I'm sorry, 6 years prior, I did for 1 month. I do 31 days of 31 T-shirts. I do not repeat a T-shirt ever. So that right there tells you I have at least 6 months worth of T-shirts that don't repeat.
Hey, no laundry days for a long time.
Well, at least for T-shirts. I can't say the same thing for underwear and socks.
I know I think I have more than that because getting into this new closet area we have, I found I could fit 66 or so T-shirts in each drawer, and I filled a couple drawers and haven't put half the T-shirts away.
Oof.
You are definitely right there with me then.
The wife's like, you got to get rid of some of these.
I found the Marty McPrime shirt, by the way. I put it in private chat. So
Nice. I also found I have a lot of old like Brick Fair and Brick Fest and stuff shirts from being a theme coordinator. I have multiples of the same one. So I think I'm going to start giving those away if anybody, a builder wants Brick Fair 2010 shirt or whatever.
Yep.
But now they wear the Foot Locker shirts.
Yeah. But you would still get a polo for volunteering.
I know. my husband had to wear one last when we did the GBC at Alabama before lockdown, and I just kept asking him if he could help me try on a pair of shoes and stuff because it looked like he wanted
Those shirts don't breathe.
No, he smelled terrible. Was it like 10 hours in a GBC pit wearing that thing, and it was bumper to bumper people? He stank.
Yeah. I stopped being theme coordinator, so I wouldn't have to wear the shirt. Also, because I didn't want the hassle. But
What's Matthew doing? What are you building?
I have opened up the new modular, which I'm probably going to call mine a library because I don't even think it reads as a police station. Maybe it's more of a European police station, but to me it looks like a library, not a police station. And I'm very meh about this particular modular, but I own all the rest of them, and being a completist, I couldn't not buy it, so I bought it because, yeah, that's me. I can't not complete something, so I bought it. So I'm only on bag 2. I started it last night. We were watching the Royal Tannenbaums, which I hadn't watched in about a decade, and I'd forgotten how visually interesting that movie was. So I kept stopping building to look back up and enjoy the movie. So I rarely build from instructions during our show. So I'm usually like working on my Bob's Burgers upstairs. So I'm down in my office space today. The other thing that I'm doing is I really have to blame Meredith here.
Are you talking about Burkina?
Yeah. So
The German goddess of parts.
So I went on Burkina last night, and I started looking around at the sale. So let me back up. Do you want to tell them about Burkina?
You can tell them.
I mean, you're the one. You are
I've done the spiel now like 3 or 4 times.
You're the apostle of Burkina who converted me to this, addiction or whatever it is, religion.
We worship the goddess Burkina.
So it's a German site that buys. And correct me, I'll do it if I say it wrong. They buy new sets and they part them out, and that doesn't make them unusual. But what makes them unusual is that they have like a countdown clock, and when they list a lot of pieces, after a certain number of days, it drops to 15. So they begin listing the piece at the average Bricklink price. So you're paying the average price sold, but you're not paying more, you're not paying less, you're paying right at the average.
Actually, it's an average plus markup from what I read. There's like a 20% markup on top.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So
So
buying
it's not-
brand new, you're paying more. Or buying non-discounted, you're paying more.
Okay, so you buy, it's slightly above, it's 20% above. And then after X number of days, it drops 15%, and then it drops 30%, and then 45%, and then 60%, and then 75%. So depending on how many days it's been listed, it could drop more. Now, obviously, if it's a hot new part that's sold out on Bricks and Pieces, it's not going to get to 75% before someone's going to buy it. Somebody's going to buy it because they want the parts. But if it's a part that's less popular with certain niche, certain collectors, you can get parts for 60. I bought some stuff that was 60% off, and I don't know if I think I got 1 or 2 things that was 75% off. But most of my things that I ended up buying were like 45 to 30 to 45 to 60% off. And so it's really useful. And there's a flat shipping rate. So it comes out to, what was it, 28
€28.
20 US.
28 euros. So
20 euros. I think it's like $28.
you
gotta
need
buy
a
a lot.
lot for the shipping to be spread across those parts. So if you just need like $20 worth of stuff, it doesn't make sense because you're going to pay $28 in shipping. But if you're going to spend $100 or more, then it starts to become more attractive. So I sat down and I started going through plates, in particular the new mosaic sets that have the 1x1 round tiles and the 1x1 round plates in volume. I went through and grabbed the new sand blue. Oh, so pretty. The precious. I want the precious. And so I started chunking those into my cart. And I got past $100 pretty quickly. At one point, I had $500 worth of stuff in my cart, which I did not spend $500. So then it was a matter of going back through and taking things out or lowering the quantity. So $500 was kind of like my dream list. And I chunked out everything that wasn't at least 30% off, except for one or two brand new parts that are just, I can't get them off Bricks and Pieces. And so basically I paid the starting price just because I want that particular piece. So there's like 4 or 5 pieces that I paid the starting price, but everything else was 30 to 45 to 60% off.
The site sounds dangerous.
Thomas is like, I'm getting in bed and I'm like, oh man, I have to pare this down in like 10 minutes so I can submit this order. So I'm like going through changing quantities. I'm like, okay, I'm dropping it to 25 increments instead of 50, so I'm trying to get it down so it doesn't bust my budget. And then I hit send and I got in bed and I thought, I hope I don't regret this in the morning. And when I woke up, of course, Germany's probably about 6 hours ahead of us. I don't know where they're.
It's packed. It's on its way. It's in DHL's hands.
It was already shipped. I got the notice that it had shipped in the morning after I pressed buy at 1 a.m. and it went and got in bed. So it was insanely fast.
German efficiency. And it's what keeps you. It's like, man, I put so many blue sand plates and dark brown plates, and you're like, it's gonna take forever to pack all those lots. They get it out. They get it out like within 6 to 8 hours, and you're just like,
I wonder how they have it. I wonder how they have their own inventory set up, because obviously they probably have it set up to expedite their efficiency. So my laptop is deader than a doornail. So it's sticky and it will not start up. So yeah.
So the question is what are you using? I mean, if you magically acquired a new computer, laptop, what you're speaking nice and clear, and we like it.
Well, this is my office. I'm in my work office right now. So this is when I do digital teaching. This is the very nice webcam that Thomas got me for Christmas. And this works great. It's just that it's not easy to take to my Lego room. So it's a pain in the butt. So normally I don't lug the camera up. The camera cannot plug into my iPad, which is what I normally use in the Lego room. It doesn't connect. It doesn't play nice with iOS, so I don't use it, but it works fine on the PC. I do 97% of all my electronic stuff at a desktop. I'm very old school in that respect. And I have an iPad, which I mostly use to look at Pinterest in bed before I fall asleep, or I play games on it. And I use it for the show. Well, I had been using my work laptop exclusively just to do old gray bricks. I never used my work laptop for work. I just sat at my desktop and used this one. So now the work laptop is dead, and I only had it for 3 months. So they're not going to give me a new one, I don't think. I basically can live without it until we go back to instruction in the fall, and then I won't be able to print on campus without a functioning laptop. So that'll kind of be a problem. I may beg.
Do you use real laptops where you teach?
Yeah, they're Lenovo, the standard bog issue Lenovo laptops.
Because my wife, everybody, including the teachers, they get Chromebooks.
No, we get a real laptop. So I will say that. We don't get pay raises, but we do get laptops.
Yeah. Teacher pay is its own thing.
I mean, adjusted for inflation, I make less now than when I started. And I, consistently come in well above average on my annual review. So it's not because I suck at my job that I'm not getting pay raises. It's just that I got a couple merit raises, and all they did is they were cost of living adjustments, frankly. So
you don't have like an annual step increase automatically?
That would be if I taught high school, middle school. I would make more money based on the length of office, but at the college level, it does not work that way.
Oh, you're at college level. Okay. Yeah, my wife teaches high school, and they get annual step increases, and
it's much more regularized for high school, middle school, elementary school teachers. X number of years, You get a master's, PhD, you get bumps. It's all contractual stuff. It's all written in.
Yeah.
All ad hoc at the college level. So you go from one college to another, even in the same state, in the same system, and the base salaries can be very different. The pay increases are literally decided by like the department chair, or the dean decides, well, I'm going to give $1,000 to this faculty and this other faculty only gets 500. It's very ad hoc. And
I gotcha.
I have not been complaining about this up until this year. And the dean came to our online meeting and I brought it up, and I was like, I consistently rate very high, and I make less money than when I started, and I have an issue with that. And she's brand new, and she's like, okay, I didn't know that. And I was like, it's not your fault, but I just thought you should be aware.
Maybe check it out.
Yeah.
Did
Anyway.
you get the canned answer of, well, we'll look into that?
We'll look into it.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll look into it. She's new, and she came from another system at school in the state, and she's like, I'm aware that there is a problem with salary compression, which is the phrase they use. But basically, nobody's gotten raises for 5 years. Almost nobody's gotten raises. So, I mean, I've worked here for 8 years, and I got no raises for the first 5. So, I mean, inflation just is like nibble. Even though inflation,
Well, that probably means the new hires are getting paid more.
yes,
They're getting hired at market rate.
yes, that's exactly what it means. So she's like, we need to have an external consultant come in and do a salary study, and there needs to be a fix it. And great, I'm glad that she recognizes that, and hopefully she'll push for it. But anyways, you guys didn't want to hear about my salary. We're verging into rich territory here.
I love when people say, let's bring in external consultants to make a decision because we can't make a decision.
I just don't want it to be my fault.
Well, that's the reason you hire consultants.
Why
You
don't
hire
we
consultants
see
for
if,
2 reasons.
Meredith, are you working on anything Lego at the moment?
Looks like there may be
the
an
other room,
unopened
so
Lego box
just need
right
a
behind
discussion
you.
and I'll be back.
What are you drinking is more important. That's what Dana wants to know.
I'm drinking Bearded Iris Homestyle IPA.
And Meredith, by the way, tell Brian that I had one of those hopsecutioners last night with the
You mean-
lobster we had for Valentine's Day, and it was
Yeah,
fantastic.
Brian had one and he fell asleep because it was 1%.
That's romantic.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
definitely one of those beers you have one of and then supplement it with something else so that you don't fall asleep. But
Hey, while she's gone, I've got a comment for Jeff. Jeff VW. Vroom, vroom. We should call him Vroom Vroom Jeff. It's Farfignuven Jeff. I
You
think
can
that's
just call me
gotta,
BW.
I think Farfignuven Jeff's got to be your new nickname. So
I don't support this use of how Jeff's name is being used. The preferred moniker for the both of us when we're in the same place is Jeff Squared. I'm just getting this out of the way now. But
If you
Jeff,
say-
go away because I got to scoot. I'm sorry. I like all of you people a whole lot. Matt, don't forget to watch the Aquatic Life of Steve Zissou as well.
I own it.
Yeah, watch that because it's as good as the Royal Tenenbaum stick. Anyway, good night, everybody.
good night, Jeff.
Yep.
So for Jeff,
Oh my.
I'll come back.
Here comes.
Center stage, the Pink Tower.
The pink brutalist modern tower. I can't really get it all in one scene, but there it is. She's all done.
Ooh,
There's my hair.
ooh.
It is fancy.
Hey, can we see the window side again?
This side?
Yeah. Ooh, I like it. But you're gonna have to put some floors in, aren't you?
Yeah, it's got Technic.
Okay.
It's got Technic. Yeah, I had to do a lot of Technic to make sorry. I did a lot of Technic to make everything stick together. Because you do studs on the side and stuff does not want to stick.
Yep. Nice.
There's more Technic inside holding everything together with hopes and prayers. So
Actually, that wall looks fantastic, and the fact that it came out so easily was great too.
yeah, it was. But the problem is getting it to stick upright because it's heavy. That's the problem when you build. There.
What about some sort of hinge thing, like so that you can swing it open or something?
No, it's so heavy, Dana. When you, it pops right off. But hold on a second, I can pop it off actually. Sorry, this is boring. It all comes
No, this is the nuts and bolts of how we do stuff.
Yeah.
So here's the inside, and it has Technic at the bottom. And then it's all pinned together at the top, which also holds the top on it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and so you can take it all because she will want to play with it.
Oh well, yeah. If you don't have the play feature, what's the point?
It will come all apart.
So I have a question for you about the pink layered pink wall on the side.
Yeah.
So right now you have plates that stick out, and you've got the studs facing out. Are you gonna put plates? Are you gonna put tiles on it to make it all smooth, or are you gonna leave the exposed tiles?
I like it like this.
Okay.
I think
I was on it and I looked at it. It
Fantastic
just wasn't pretty.
That looks, I like it. I like it exposed like that.
Yeah, it just because there's so much. I mean, everything else on this is smooth. Well, I
Right.
have a little bit of what do you call it, greebiness into it, but otherwise it's very smooth. And then everything else is just very smooth and squared off. So I think it just brings a little bit more texture into it. And then
Right.
snaps back.
That makes sense. That's why I was asking, because it does add a totally different texture feel that you would have if it were all smooth.
And then thank you to Technic. Everything snaps back together.
I kind of wish we could see how it snaps together.
Here, hold on a second. So I'm using the wonderful new brickhead stud forced slot out, and that hooks into the Technic, so it hooks this part in, and then the same thing happens over here. It snots up to the Technic, and so everything is really cinched together because this is really tight. And then this Technic brick is built into the side right here.
Did that take some trial and error, or was it pretty organic to come up with that?
No, it was a lot of trial and error. It's the same thing at the bottom. I built the Technic into it. There's just one area where there's one stud that's all white because I just had to put that Technic into it to just keep it steady. Because otherwise, these will just flop over. Even if you just try to use snot to hold these up, this is too tall for you to hold up with snot. You have to use Technic.
Mm.
And if you transport that to a show, would you disassemble it into the components and do it that way?
I've disassembled it halfway and put it back up here in 20 seconds. So
Yeah.
And the Bellevue stuff just pops all off.
And how tall is it? It looks tall. It's hard for me to judge compared to like a modular. It looks like it's going to be.
Here is a minifig, a mini doll.
Yeah, it's tall. I see. Now I want to build a skyscraper.
It's not. Trust me, it is not the biggest skyscraper I've ever seen. But I didn't want to make it too big because A, I don't have a lot of Belleville, and I don't have a lot more pink, and B, it would have just been a pain to carry around. And this way, we can have 4 floors in here, plus the base level, and we're gonna put like a library in the first 2, and then she wants to have a mayor's office up here, like in Ninjago, where the mayor had the top level on the building.
And you've got a police level already.
Yeah.
Partly. Oh no, I take it back. Whose mom is it? Olivia's mom. Olivia's mom. I've watched it now a bazillion times. Olivia's mom is a police officer, so there is a police force.
Well, no, he was referring to
She's a mounted
the
officer.
sticker on the white brick.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, are you gonna do like wallpaper or something on the inside to cover all the printed parts in there?
I'm sorry.
Are you gonna like fake like a wallpaper, like do another layer of brick inside to
No,
cover
I
the
think
printed parts
gonna-
that you used on the
We're
inside?
gonna leave this kind of open, and we're gonna put I have to put in an elevator because she's demanded it. So it's just gonna be kind of like an open area back here, so you can see through the windows, and then so you can see all the way up to the top.
More than likely, that police sticker will get hidden.
Yeah, it'll get pulled off. I haven't pulled the sticker off because I was lazy.
Oh, it's a sticker. I thought it was a printed brick, and I was like,
No,
wow, just
it's-
throwing the
it's-
printed
it's
bricks in the
just a-
middle. That's
No,
bold.
those are stickers.
I just hadn't pulled it up.
So
Meredith being lazy.
I will say that should we put it when we do our collective village? Should we put it next to the bubblegum headquarters and like just overload the display with pink explosion, or should they be
We
spaced
can.
apart
I
so that
think
there's not a?
I think I made the sidewalk kosher. I'm not quite sure though.
Okay.
to our lug standards. Although I think I used the wrong
Stand out
colors.
better if you spread them out.
That's true.
Yeah, I would be voting for having them not next to each other. Just say,
Yeah, you'll have better impact.
spread that color around a little bit. Don't be so stingy in one area.
When we ever get to do a lug show again.
I'd vote them up. Vote it all up.
See, it snaps back on the onto the Technic anti-stove with that. It just kind of floats. But if you put rails on it, holding it together, it's not like held together by hopes and dreams. Because if you don't do that, those glass panels will not stay at all.
Well,
At least this
I
tall.
would like for our lug city to have a couple more tall buildings. So the Wickhams already have their very tight white hotel. So your building, and I have some ideas for a skyscraper myself. So if I were to build a taller one and you've got that one, we could actually have like a high-rise rent district for our lug display.
Which would actually go
Hey,
nice
mine-
comparatively to the train yard and warehouse district that we've already got too.
Hey, mine is a 60s or 70s style municipal mid-century modern building. It's all about brutality, or what do you call it? Brutalism, minimalism, to build something cheap.
Matthew, does this mean that we're now going to require people to have like either a master's or a minor in architectural digest to view these things or to talk about them?
I don't know. Hey, I'm an engineer. I am not an architect, so
I don't know. I've seen some of the builds that you and Brian do, and they are very architectural, but they are very artsy-fartsy architectural at the same time. So.
Brian's are pretty, and I'm a little bit more of the left brain, but so
Well, I
that's
want
what I've
Brian
been working on. And now I got to
Brian
build a
finish-
apparently out of gray and sand green.
And orange. Don't forget about orange.
It's easy to forget about the orange.
The dark orange.
Not dark orange.
Just
Bright
regular orange.
orange.
The dark-
orange. Brick.
Dark orange is my jam.
Just this guy.
Isn't that from that video game that the kids play?
It is, but coincidentally, it's got most of the right colors already.
Oh,
It's
it
got
does?
sand green, orange, dark gray.
But would that get in trouble for using too much yellow, aka the chop style?
You would need to swap those yellow pieces out for another color.
Probably dark gray.
Probably dark gray, especially because of those handlebars don't come in too many colors.
Yeah.
But dark gray, it does come in. So yeah.
But I've been thinking about doing a humanoid mecha with this color scheme.
Ooh.
Since I heard about that challenge. Then I was thinking about using these pieces that are on here. You know, mecha don't usually have glass, but I could do two of those right in the chest and a big circular window in the middle and have the pilot in there.
I like that. That's a great idea.
I think it could be pretty fun.
That would be
I
cool.
those don't have a lot of attachment points, so we'll see how it goes. But,
Hence the challenge.
Indeed.
So speaking of the challenge, this weekend while we were on our Peach Lug chat, I built some engine-y things to put on a spaceship. So
I really
Nice.
like that, Mark.
Looks fantastic.
So yeah, I've got
Yes.
two of those. So I'm gonna put them on the. I don't know how they're gonna be yet. Maybe angle them like this. That could be
I was
sort
gonna
of
say,
cool.
I think angle would be the way to go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
envisioned those angled, but it could also be fun if you had 3 or 4 of them.
I don't
know
need
if you
enough
for
parts
it,
to make
but
3 or 4 of them. I don't think.
Yeah, having the parts for it, that's probably the trick.
that is a challenge.
That cow
I,
piece, the sand green cow piece, I'm sure you probably don't have that many of those.
Actually, those I do have quite a few.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
but
sure what those are from.
weren't they on one of the slave ones, like the second slave one or
Yeah.
something like that? Or
Yeah, we have
Okay.
that. It's on the shelf with the little Boba Fett plushie. It's that slide one
okay,
right there. Because then the
Yeah,
other two
uh,
versions used a dark green versus that sand green.
That was back in the day when you could still get things on really good sales. Like right after Christmas, you could get 50% off of all sorts of stuff. Because yeah, those I've got. I must have got. I don't know. I don't know if I got these in a draft or if I just got really good sales. Because those I've got handfuls of.
Oh wow.
I have loads of those.
They may have come in something else as well.
Well, it's possible I got some of them from Life on Mars or something, or because there's a lot of sand green in some of those sets. Or, I don't know.
Could be. I don't think it was in the new Ninjago.
Well, the parts that I have, those would be from sets back in the day because I've had these for years.
Let me see.
Like pre-Ninjago years.
Yeah.
And that's when you know you're old school, when you're older than Ninjago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what those parts fall under. They're
They
not.
fall under Wedge. I'm looking them up now.
Is it Wedge?
Yeah. They came in 3 sets in sand green, 2 different slave ones, and Welcome to Apocalypseburg had 7 of them.
Oh well, I'm guessing that's not where he got them then.
Yeah, that's recent. And
Yeah.
that's not exactly a mark.
Apocalypseburg was the Statue of Liberty on the side, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so one of the 2 slave ones they came in was the one with the little kid Jango Fett or Boba Fett.
Yeah, it was the Attack of the Clones version.
Yeah, and that was like from back in the super clearance days.
That must have been where I got them all then.
And which is funny because that set to get that Django is really pricey now. So if you had those on clearance and you had the Djangos, you could make some bank with those.
I think I have several of them.
I sold those years ago.
Yeah.
Those Django Fetts financed a trip to BrickCon, I think, one year.
Then that must be where you got them from. If you had that
All
many to
coming
sell.
together.
Yep, it all pieces together. There we go.
That also means I have several without going and looking in that drawer.
You now have sand green for your build.
Well, I also, that wrecking ball thing that I was holding up, I bought 4 of those because
Yeah, they were.
I was so enamored with the parts from it.
That's a great build just in general.
Mm-hmm. I almost never build sets, but I just was so curious about it. I was we were at Great Wolf Lodge, and I picked it up at the Walmart nearby and built it while the kids were swimming.
So I bought the entire series. I don't play the video game, but I thought the sets were a lot of fun. I bought all the sets and flipped the minifigs because I could care less, and they were a hot commodity when the sets first came out. But the one you just held up, that was a fun build, and I'm not really a huge mech person, but I really enjoyed putting that one together.
I mean, it transforms into a pretty decent ball. You can roll it around.
It does.
I've never played the game either, but I thought it was pretty cool.
It's really great that you can flip the switch on the side and Hammond pops up out of the top.
Right. It also has a tiny hamster, which even if I were flipping the figs, I would probably keep the tiny hamster.
I think I sold that hamster for like $8.
Yeah, he's a super intelligent hamster.
I mean,
Obviously,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're going to be operating a mechanized hamster ball, you might as well be a fairly intelligent hamster.
see.
They need to do a crossover with him and Rocket Raccoon.
That would be
He's
fun.
got a backpack on and everything.
Yeah,
And everything. He's got a backpack on.
Yeah, it's the he's a super intelligent hamster that was on a laboratory base on the moon, and the mecha is his escape pod that he launched and escaped in, and when it crashed, he rebuilt it into a mech.
I love the backstory.
So was he always super intelligent, or was it like space radiation or something made him? Is he like the Fantastic Four?
He's from the same moon base where the intelligent gorilla Winston is from. They're both from the same moon base.
I'm going to say genetic experimentation.
Yeah.
Probably. I think it's something
Forced
like
evolutionary virus.
Yeah. But not so much TMNT, but more like, scientists trying to do it, a la Planet of the Apes, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say Planet of the Apes, right?
Yeah.
Well, the
Planet
newer
of the
ones.
hamsters, but yeah.
They were gorillas. You said it was the gorilla too. So it's just Planet of the Mammals.
Exactly. I dig it.
Matt, would you like?
I thought the teal wheel was being too good for us this evening.
Huh?
I thought she was being too good for us this evening. Yeah, she's not going to bite.
No.
Pandas. She's got a panda shirt.
Who's that? Is that Bamboo?
Mhm.
How many pandas do we have from friend sets now? Like 8. Yeah, too many pandas.
But do you have
Where
a
they
llama? Do you have a llama in every color?
We don't. We didn't get all the llamas. We only have regular nougat llamas. We don't have all the mutant llamas in purple and what was the other ones? Yellow and pink.
Pink, purple.
I think there's
Probably
a blue
tan.
one too.
Yes, we don't have mutant llamas. We just have regular nougat llamas.
Well, after COVID, you can come over and play with my llamas because I have the llamas and I have the pelicans in every color. The whatchamacallit, the birds that stand on one leg.
Flamingos?
Flamingos, yeah, those things.
Nat,
I
is it
was
time for
on
bed?
Bricklink the other day and saw one of those llamas. I was like looking at pink parts, and one of those llamas was there for like $10. It's like, that's cool.
That's why I bought them up bricks and pieces because I didn't want to buy them up Bricklink.
They've been out on bricks and pieces for the longest time.
There's a huge pent-up demand for llamas being COVID.
Why are you breaking into my building? Why
Well,
are
I'm
you
trying
breaking
to see
into
how
my
this video, how we say this video is that. I mean, it's just a weird way of spelling video. I think that's what it is.
So they can trademark it.
Right. Exactly. Because you can't trademark Ninja and Go, but you can trademark Ninja Go. So I guess that's how they're going to trademark video. So
I think I haven't seen that, whatever it is. Is that like leaked video llama guy? Is that like leaked stuff or
unfortunately,
They've got like a no. It's new.
yeah, it's on.
It's on the
it's
Lego
Shop at Home.
shop website, but
Yeah.
there are no sets available yet.
Yeah.
But it's something to do with making music videos, and there are a whole bunch of printed 2x2 tiles
And there's
Um,
no stop.
that trigger special effects, I guess. Some of the printed tiles look like they might be useful in mocks.
But the really
Because we're
About
gonna
an
go. Somebody's getting cranky. See you guys on Thursday.
see there's it. So the one thing I've found about the video thing that I found interesting is that it's also going to have 12 minifigures that come in like blind boxes. And I said blind boxes, not blind bags. They're going to be in boxes, so you can't feel them. And I think that's going to be a real stickler for some people. So
I think they're going to end up being torn open on the show, unless they keep them at like, the electronics desk or something at Target. They're going to get all torn open in the stores. I've seen it before.
Yep. Blind bag. I mean, that's the only thing that has saved, I think, the CMF blind bags is because you can feel them. Because I used to collect vinyl toys, and the blind boxes in those where you could not feel what they were, and if you were trying to complete a set,
Me too. It was like, you better buy a case and then hope that your case has the chase, and it still
and
might
if you're-
not.
That's again if you're lucky.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I typically, and there was one series that I really really liked, and that was the only one I did for vinyls and like that. But after that, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, I remember trying to get like the Huck G Dunnies and like
Yeah. For me, it was Jay Ledbetter, his figures.
I did get a bunch of those too. Yeah, and they were really cool, but
But again, blind boxes. I
yeah,
don't know how many of the pigs with wings I got before I was able to get the bear I was looking for. So it's
I'm not sure I ever managed to find a pig with wings.
Or maybe there was a pig with wings was the chase, and then there was just the regular pig.
That's what it
Tons of
was.
regular
Pig
pig,
with
that's
wings
what it
was
is.
the chase.
Yeah. I don't think I ever did get a pig with wings.
Hey, Mark, there's a
Yeah.
few links in the private chat for video images that I was able to track down quickly.
Okay, cool.
For video.
They're just figs, and the first one is the most up-to-date one, I think.
So one of the figs is a llama, going back to the llama topic, with maracas, I believe.
And then there's the skateboarding gator dude that's actually in he's on the graphics in one of the city sets as well.
Interesting. I hadn't seen the gator.
Someone made the correlation that the skate park for the new city set, there's like a graffiti sticker, and it's a gator on a skateboard or something, or a lizard on a skateboard, and so that's one of the video figures as well.
Also,
shark, maybe.
The price per piece of these video sets is bad. They're
not surprised.
Yeah.
But I bet you'll be able to get all the parts at yard sales in a couple of years if you're willing to put that time in.
Well, you know what? That raises a great question, because if you think about the hidden side, we got maybe 2 seasons out of it, and we're still not quite sure if we're getting a third. And it's going to already be on the chopping block. Even though Nexo Knights, there's a love-hate relationship out there, it was only 2 seasons and on the chopping block. It's kind of sad to stop and think about, I'm just going to wait for this idea to go on clearance and then I'll buy them, as opposed to buying them when they're out, because it's a worthwhile thing to buy. So
that's the market cycle driven by Target and Walmart now, right?
Right.
There's so many new sets churning out all the time. You can't afford to buy all of them.
True.
So I gotta say that looks like Joe Camel.
It does. It does. It does. Very much so.
I don't know if there's probably enough time since Joe Camel to avoid criticism of it, but that just looks like Joe Camel to me.
It does.
It does.
But yeah, there's some of the critters. I think I know Small Paul is gonna like those little animals because he's been playing Animal Crossing a lot, and he'll dig those just because.
Yeah, those will be real popular here.
Yeah, the ice cream.
And the melted head guy looks awesome.
I like the ice cream guy. I think he's real funny.
There was some criticism about the ice cream guy, because there's some designer out there who does his own custom minifigures, and one of his custom minifigures is an ice cream headed guy. And so the fact that Lego actually turned around and produced an ice cream head guy after this guy had done something was kind of.
I believe that says in brick.
Yes, I think it is.
Lego also has a much longer product development cycle than somebody making their own custom stuff.
Yeah.
So they might have had that geared up a year ago when he released his, and it was already out the door.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I have to say, I want that ice cream head. That looks fun.
It does.
The new
I wish
Alien
they put it on the ice cream dude from the Lego movie too.
Well, he was an ice cream. He was actually an ice cream cone.
He was,
yeah.
But he still has that ice cream head, right? But he's not melting. I'm just saying the drips.
And his head was a 2x2 dome versus
3x3.
Was it a 3x3?
Yeah, I learned that recently when I was like, "Where did this 3x3 dome part come from?"
The ice cream
looked into it. I was like, "I see." The ice cream man set that I kept looking for on clearance and never found and never bought because of that. So that's the other side of the coin you're talking about.
Yep.
I wanted it, but I thought I'd be able to pick it up on clearance and never could.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's a dicey game. It's like, do I wait long enough or do I go ahead and buy it now? Kind of thing. Yeah. I luckily did get a few of those on clearance because I was trying to build something and I was too busy to wait for Bricklink order, and there was it's a 1x2 plate with a clip, not a clip, but the attachment that you put a clip to in blue, which ironically they don't make very many of them and happen to be in that set. So I was like, oh, these aren't clearance. I'll grab a couple of these and save myself the Bricklink order.
I was considering it for the brown ingots more than anything else, but I ended up getting those on Bricks and Pieces.
Yeah. Those ingots are, I gotta say, those ingots just in any color are my favorite element right now.
They're awesome.
We are on our bulk plug element selection. We actually have light gray, dark gray, tan, and orange all on our parts list this year.
We got some of them in the past. Yeah, we'll see what we get this year. I'm looking forward to it. I definitely have orange, and I have already been thinking about how those are going to be worked into the challenge mock.
Nice. So speaking of challenges, since Mark doesn't really consider me to talk about what I'm doing right now.
Ooh.
But so there's this thing on Lego Ideas right now where they did it once before, and that's how we got the little kid with the rocket ship that looked like the thing that sits outside the grocery store. so they're doing it again, and you got to do a space theme set, minimum 150 pieces, maximum of 250 pieces. And so I took a couple of things I was doing, and I've been working on it for the last couple of days. Would show pictures to Mark and Chris, and in their infinite space wisdom, they would give me little tweaks to change, like, how about this, or how about that, or what do you want to do with this? So it's been a group effort, I would say, for sure. But I kind of came up with this this classic space Vic Viper type scenario here. And the windshield is does not come in trans yellow. So this is actually a turmeric dyed trans clear piece to give it that trans yellow piece. And I don't think that I will win by any stretch of imagination, because there are tons of other stuff out there. But if it was to win, the main purpose of doing this is, for one, to have a red classic space torso. Right now he's got a Galaxy Squad helmet on, because I was taking some pictures, but he would normally, in the idea set that I'll publish, it'll actually be a regular helmet. So that way we can get a red spaceman, because we didn't get one in either Lego Movie 1 or Lego Movie 2. And then also for them to make this windscreen in trans yellow, so that it will appease us space fans to do that. And then maybe we'll get some more stickered or printed pieces for the tail fin. So hopefully that will turn out. But like I said, not like I expect to do anything or for it to actually win or anything like that. Hopefully. You never know.
Is this a voted contest? Should we all be going to vote for you?
I think it winds up getting judged.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. The fact that the last time when they did it, the fact that little kid on the rocket ship, that's the little mechanism would sit outside the grocery stores kind of thing, the fact that won as being a space theme.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of think it was more along the lines of it being judged, and someone at Lego said, "Ooh, this is cool. Let's do this. We're going to piss off all the space people, but it's still space, right?" So time will tell. Time will tell. I think right now, there's I want to say 350 submissions that have been done so far. I think that's what it might be. 372 submissions so far. So hopefully by the time they get done, there will be a good chunk of classic space type stuff on there, and hopefully one of them will win, and we'll get a new classic red spaceman out of it. Fingers crossed.
What's the deadline?
Let's see, what was the deadline? I think it's 21 days to go. So I think it's the beginning of March or mid-March. What does it say here?
A week into March.
Read more. How about that? March 12th. It will be voted. There is a voting phase. There's a judging phase as well. So submission phase. I'm sorry. You must have your entry in before March 8th. Get it in 2 to 3 days. For judging phase, our judges review the entries and choose 15 entries, which will then go forward to a fan vote. And then there will be a voting phase from March 12th to March 19th. And the winner will be announced on March 26th. So actually, that's pretty fast turnaround, surprisingly. So
it is.
Dan, I see the wheels. I see the wheels turning. I think you need to submit something.
I have some stuff I could submit now. I don't know if it counts if I have something that I already built and gave to Lego like a decade ago.
I don't think it matters. As long as it's under 250 pieces and it's over 150, I think you're good to go.
I have one that's 188 that I had to count out for them at the time.
Boom. I don't think there's any reason why you can't. I mean, unless you had some sort of, disclosure and NDA. I don't know. I'm not even sure if because you submitted it once, can you submit it again? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they do anything with it?
Yeah, sort of. It was this dark green and lime spaceship thing. They wanted a small part count.
Right.
And then that became in the prototypes for the Master Builder Academy.
Okay.
There was that BrickCon where they did a speech with it.
Right.
My mock was in that. And then they shuffled the parts some to do the initial Master Builder Academy. So it might be.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, they just either nobody notices or somebody does notice it and rejects it.
Yeah, that's what I figure.
The funny thing will be that if somebody says, that they don't notice it at all. And
That's entirely possible because like most of the folks in Europe at Lego who I've talked to had no idea what Master Builder Academy was.
exactly.
It was done by Lego US.
Yeah, and for that matter, unless somebody who worked in the Master Builder portion or Master Builder Academy is also working in ideas, no one will ever know.
Yeah.
There'll be like some guy in some meeting, like 6 months after they produced it, and go, "Oh yeah, didn't we use that in one other thing?" Yeah, they're big companies. They know half the time the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Yeah, totally.
They do have a thing though that anything you submit to them becomes their property, doesn't it? Isn't that part of their legal?
I thought they'd relaxed that more recently, but I haven't
Yeah,
read the contract lately.
Matthew, do you really want to put that can of Coke that close to your laptop?
And a cup of ice too.
What? I would say that if you did submit it again, what's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
I mean, it's not like they're going to sue you
No, yeah.
because you've submitted it twice.
Yeah.
I say go with it.
I'm
Might
just
as well.
waiting to see Matthew kind of go like, and the camera just cuts off.
So
You
they
just
do
thought
sell
so.
cups with
So-
lids.
The only thing that's ruinable on this desktop currently is the remote keyboard. So I could destroy that by spilling Diet Coke on it, but that's not that expensive to replace. So I don't actually have a laptop sitting here waiting to be destroyed by my carelessness.
You know what else isn't that expensive? Cups with lids. That's what I use. I only buy my computer use cups with lids because I'm like you and I've spilled stuff before.
Sippy cups.
Yeah, like the coffee cup, you just slide the thing open and shut every time.
Or get yourself a thing that like I have on my Lego table here. It's a little computer riser thing like this, and it keeps the computer up off the table. And then
That works too.
pull something
Well-
that goes under.
I actually use these. These are made by a company called Corksicle, and they did a Star Wars line. And they actually have the coffee top where you can just slide the thing over. But I never plan on spilling stuff, so I don't use those tops.
I was looking at those before Christmas. They looked really cool. That exact brand.
They're super cool. They're mostly sold out now, so I'm glad I got one of each. There were 4. There's an R2D2, C3PO, a Sith, and a Boba Fett. And I got
The
one of
Boba
each.
Fett was sold out,
Yeah.
which is what stopped me.
And like they make the wine glass size. So this is the Sith one, which is the red stripe. Then there's the water cup, and then there's the carafe. So I got 2 carafes, and I got both the wine glass and the water glass in each design. So I have one of each 4 of the designs in the small and the tall.
But when I was looking, there was a Rebel Pilot design too
I thought
in
so.
orange. But it might not
Right.
have been in all the shapes.
You're right. I did not care for the pilot, and it was gone very quickly. So I'd forgotten there was a pilot. The only thing that we damaged if I spill is the bottom of the police station. So.
At least it's Diet Coke, so it won't get sticky.
And we can wash
Like
them.
a Lego.
The instruction book there is also viable for damage.
Ooh.
That's online.
It's not required. You can move on without it.
That's right.
Hey, and Matthew,
You get sponsored by Diet Coke?
Somebody asked what you actually teach. It's so stuck in my head.
Well, I teach political science, and my specialization is United States. And I teach Congress, presidency, elections, political parties, and methods, statistics. So those are the classes I teach primarily.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but are we not supposed to officially refer to you as Dr. Falconer 18?
I only wear the doctor mantle when I'm at work. So I try not to be that guy.
But yes, you do have your PhD.
I do.
We could call you doctor, and it is. We are correct.
Yeah, I got my doc. I finally finished my doctorate in 2010. I set the record for the longest PhD in political science at Emory because I actually ran out of time and was technically expelled. Well, not expelled, but my clock ran out.
You were disavowed.
I no longer was a candidate. I'll just put it that way. And I had to go back and ask for special permission from the dean, which the dean generously granted. I had 9 months to finish my dissertation, which I finished in 8.5 months. And so I became a doctor at that point. I don't recommend the Matt Gunning career trajectory, but it did work out, but it was not stress-free.
So how many years did you spend on that, if I may ask?
I moved to Atlanta in 1996, a week after the Olympics, and I got my doctorate in 2010. 14 years. You're only supposed to have 10 or 11. Like, that's why I say I set the record. No one will probably ever take as long as I did. So, because you're not allowed to under the rules. Mind you, I was teaching the whole time. So I never stopped teaching. I was teaching on a 1-year contract, which you can do with the master's, but you can't get a permanent job without getting the PhD in my field. So I either had to get a permanent job with health insurance or I was going to go teach high school, which had health insurance. But yeah, getting single and losing my health insurance was the kick in the butt that I needed to actually finish.
It's funny how that changes our priorities in life, right?
Yeah.
Little things like healthcare.
If I had lived in Canada, I probably never would have finished.
Exactly.
Blame private insurance and non-universal health care.
Fun stuff.
But it is funny, like with the charged political climate, when I meet strangers and they ask me what I do, I usually just say, oh, I'm a teacher. And I don't tell them political science because I would say a third of the time, if I tell them what I teach, they launch into a diatribe about everything that's wrong with American politics, as though I have no possible knowledge about these issues. Like they just dump all of their.
No, they've got to tell you so that you can do something about it.
Right. Or that's the other thing. So we get in grad school and one of my friends, he's a dear friend to this day, Todd Peppers, he's sitting there and he says, okay, well, when does our research make a difference? And the professor looks at him and he goes, nobody pays any attention to what we say. We just do the research because we're interested in it and we talk to each other about it. But politicians are never going to call you up and say, how do I solve America's poverty problem? That's not the way it works. He was like, they never ask. He's like,
it's like being an expert in AD&D.
Right.
You know? Yeah, we just talk to each other about it.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see that Tia Taco on that one? Yeah.
He's like, if you want to make a difference, you should drop out of the program and move to DC and become a political aide because you could make it. You can change policy. But he's like, we don't make a difference. He's like, we just study things from afar. That's what we do.
So it's interesting though that you're reluctant to tell people what you do because I back in my younger single days, there was a guy I used to hang out with who was a mechanic. And anytime we'd be out drinking or wherever, and obviously the conversation comes up, well, what do you do? This and that. And he would tell people, I mean, this guy, he looked like a mechanic. I mean, grungy, the whole 9 yards. I mean, when you think of stereotypical mechanic, he looked like a stereotypical mechanic. And he would calmly tell people, I cut hair. Because as soon as he would ever tell anybody that he was a mechanic, they would always chime in with well, my car is doing this or my car is doing that. And so it just got to the point where he's like, he just tell people that he cut hair. And if somebody said, hey, would you cut my hair? He'd be like, absolutely.
Everybody's always looking for a freebie. It's like, it's that way for being a lawyer too. It's like
a lawyer, doctors, and I work in IT. And so for years I was a PC technician and I got to the point where I started telling people I cut hair. Because for the same reason. Oh, my home computer is doing this. Can you tell me what's wrong with it? I got hair.
Before I moved to Atlanta, I worked in politics. I worked for a congressman and I worked for an embassy. And so I worked on the Hill. I worked in Embassy Row. And DC is a networking town. Like every single party that you go to, there are people there who are working the room and they're trying to figure out who you work for and whether you're important enough to keep talking to. Like they are there to make connections. And And Rich is nodding his head.
Yeah, I went to law school in DC.
And so
I know.
after a while, I got sick of the people who were only talking to me to see if I knew someone important enough to keep talking to. And I wanted to weed those people out because I didn't want to waste my time with them. So they would come around and they would say, so what do you do? Or who do you work for? And I would say, I dig ditches for a living. And then they would look at me. And then obviously I don't dig ditches. I'm not in that kind of shape, right? And so they would just move on. Like they were like, oh, well, this guy's being difficult. I'm not going to network with. And I was like, fine with that. I'm like, go talk to somebody else who works for Senator so-and-so. Like, get your networking thing on. I want to talk to people who want to get to know me as a person and as a possible friend or have interesting conversations. I don't care about who you work for. My life is more than that, but
Yeah.
Oh, the fun. Oh, the fun.
So Maddie's joined us. Hey.
we got her with her mouth full. Did you bring enough for everybody?
Like the waiter that comes by the table.
Ooh,
Ooh, M&Ms.
These
Are
are
those
really
mint?
good. No, they're cheesecake.
Cheese.
Jeez.
Wow.
I have not tried those.
Happy Valentine's Day to myself. I get some M&Ms in the police station, so we're all good here, being single. 2021. Great.
I'm building a
Kept
police
the brick.
station right now.
Mhm. I've been doing it on live. So we got bag 1, 2, and 3 done.
I think
Pretty
she's
cool.
beating you, Matt.
Uh-oh.
I just tore open bag 3, so you better go fast because I'm going to catch you.
Uh-oh. I don't want to rush it, though. They keep messing up. You should have seen me earlier today on live. I had to backtrack so many different times because I put the wrong piece in the wrong place.
My bag 1 was bag 2 was actually missing a piece, and I actually searched through the bags and I looked everywhere, and I finally had to go upstairs and get it. So
What piece was it? Because my bag 2 was missing a 1x2 piece.
mine was missing the tile that is like an L shape, but the corner is cut off at a diagonal.
That's
know what I'm
super
talking about?
weird.
It's like the L-shaped tile, but the pointy part is cut off at the port.
Yeah,
Yes.
was it Mark's holding up?
And I waited and waited to see if it would show up because usually they do if you just keep holding, and it never showed up. So of course, because I buy every new part and every new color, I just went upstairs and got one out of my collection. But I was trying to wait to see if it would show up, and it didn't.
But it's just strange to me because I was missing a 1x2 brick in tan, and I'm always very careful about pouring it out. But then somebody else said in the live stream that they were missing a 1x6 gray piece. That the set was missing pieces for them.
So the most interesting case I had recently was I had a set that required you to use 2 1x3 plates, but I had one 1x6 plate. Unfortunately, it didn't work out right. So I had to go upstairs and get 2 1x3 plates, and they used the weight system. So of course, 2 1x3s would weigh the same amount as one 1x6. So the micro scale wasn't going to kick that out as an error because the weight was probably close enough.
Yeah, but why would they even have 1x6 in the dispensing line for that bag if it didn't also need a 1x6? That seems like a bigger error.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe you needed it. I think you needed the 1x6 for something else, but I already had enough 1x6s, and I needed to break the 1x6 in half to complete the build, so I couldn't just swap it out.
You had an extra 1x6, and
I'm going to agree here with Will Hafner because something that I noticed about the instruction manuals in recent sets that I've gotten that's been really frustrating is the quality control on those instruction manuals as well. It's hard to see in the camera, but this whole bottom is there's the shiny part's been rubbed off and it's not the same as the rest of it. This is a pretty okay, but I've gotten some instruction manuals that are just horrible.
Mine's pretty good. I have no complaints, but
I don't know. It was weird missing that one piece. What are the odds?
I had
that
that
used to
happen with
basically never happen.
I had that happen with the Hidden Side subway set that when Paul and I were building it, it was missing it was one of those new small arches, like a 1x3 arch. It was the lower part of the arch because they're supposed to form a circle. And one of those was missing, but a completely different piece that was roughly the same size and weight was in the set. And I think it's one of those things that a piece fell in the wrong bin, but the sorting thing saw it as the same weight, and so it got in our set, I guess. So
was it in the bag or was it in the box?
It was in the bag.
Huh. I know sometimes they'll manually throw missing pieces into the boxes if they know a bag was coming up short.
Yeah, I think this was something that more than likely the piece fell in the wrong bin somewhere back up the
back upstream,
and somehow it got sorted into our set. But yeah, I just had to order the replacement off Bricks and Pieces. But
this coffee pot is pretty awesome.
Oh, I didn't actually build that, dude. I put mine in a plastic bag.
What?
He's ready to go for later, you know.
It's gonna need his coffee first thing in the morning. You know those police officers, they need their coffee and their donuts.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. They need coffee and donuts.
That's funny. Oh man.
So, Rich, when you lived in DC, did you run into the networking issue I mentioned?
Well, it's other things. My career was computing security and being a contractor. So you get the same kinds of things like, oh, who do you work for? What programs are you working on? That kind of thing. So we're like,
You're not supposed to talk about it either, but
exactly. That too.
Right. It's secret, but here's what I'm doing.
Secret. Here's what I'm doing. Well, I can tell you I'm sort of doing this kind of stuff. Oh, I know what that is. Gee, thanks. Okay, sure. But yeah, I have to apologize for Thursday because I just was having modem issues, and I ended up having to buy a new one over the weekend that came Saturday. So,
If only you knew somebody who did computers.
Yeah, well, it's an older modem. It's an older broadband modem, and it just barfed for like an hour. I was like, that's great. Thanks, computer modem. Thanks, cable modem. So I just ordered a new one, and it came, and here we are.
Maddie,
good connection now?
I hope you built the toilet for your people because they're going to need.
Oh yeah, the toilet build was pretty funny. Like the back of the toilet is on the wall, so I was like, this doesn't really look like a toilet, and then it does.
Yeah, it's. I think they probably did the same thing that they did for Ghostbusters headquarters, right?
I didn't build that one.
Oh, is it the arched window frame? That's the toilet bowl?
It was a 2x3 tile on the wall, stuck on like studs. But the toilet bowl is a wedge on a 1x2, and then the bowl. That's all it is. It was very simple. 4-piece toilet.
Wow. Well, I mean, I always built. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always build my own toilets anyway. I use the 2x3 inverted slope, and then put a 2x2 round on top of it.
You got to use a life raft for the toilet seat.
I've done that too. I did that with the Ghostbuster headquarters. I kept all the toilets the same. I just emulated them all. I have one on each floor for my Ghostbusters headquarters.
That makes it easier than having to take the pole downstairs if you got to go.
Yeah. Of course. And you need one in the garage, of course, But today I'm actually building my the set that I got from the Potomac Mill store, which is the line dance. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Line dance on clearance. I got that on clearance.
Whoa, clearance.
Where?
Yeah.
Where?
It was $64, $63.99 at Potomac Mills last year, at the end of the year, I think.
Are you kidding?
Why don't you let me know about this, Rich?
Do you have another one?
I think I got the last one on the shelf.
Oh.
Last Potomac Mills, what's clearance? 15% off? 20?
I mean, nowadays, nothing is clearance.
Yes.
A set like that, they'd be like, "We'll give you $10 worth of VIP points if you buy
It
this
was
damaged
regularly
copy."
$80, and then it was 64.
So 20%.
So
Yeah.
yeah, 20%, which was cool. But
That's as good as you're gonna do for an exclusive set to Lego.
yeah, and that was really good for that. And I just never got to it while we were staying in the hotel, in various hotels. So it's here. We kind of have a lull in things. We finally got some appliances that actually we can wash our clothes and don't have to go to the laundromat. And we're going for another load on Wednesday to get the actual Lego. I'll hopefully get 100% of it, but I'm not holding my breath. It might be 80%. And we'll
Watch
go
the
back
weather,
down this
man.
weekend. Yeah, Wednesday seems to be clear, but here and there. So we'll zip down there and load up a truck and fill it up and fill up the van, the minivan, and come back and unload it. And then maybe Saturday or Sunday we'll come back down and get the rest of whatever. Hopefully everything.
Good luck.
Cool
Leaving
deal.
is the worst.
I want that set so
Yeah.
bad. I'm so jealous.
The Lion Dance? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
pretty
like,
cool.
really worried that they're not going to replenish the New Year sets because now it's after
Yeah.
Lunar New Year. So there's 2 sets that came out in 2021.
We have Kitty Cat.
Oh, my kitty cam. Yeah, he's really chilled right now. I don't understand.
Aww.
Sometimes
It's
he
like,
just
I
needs a
need
hug.
attention.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yeah, with those Chinese New Year sets, I wanted to get one of them for my son for his birthday. And I lined up outside the Lego store before they opened the day it came out. And I was the 5th person in line. And they'd sold or let them be reserved before I was able to get into the store. from
Are
social
you
distancing to buy one.
kidding?
Like there was
no.
one up on the table. I was like, "What about that one? Oh, that's reserved." I was like, so somebody called while I was standing in line, and they could reserve it.
That's
Well,
bad form.
that's funny
Yeah,
that
like-
you say that because I called my Lego store and they told me they only had 5 police stations left yesterday, and they said that they wouldn't reserve it for me because they've been so busy in the store and to come in and go get it. And I was like, well, SHIWAT, we gotta get in the car and go. We gotta go.
When I worked there, it was a store by store discretion about holding stuff. And the one I worked at, we would not hold it the first day. You had to just show up. Then if we still had like 5 or 6, we would say we'll hold it for 2 hours. And then if there wasn't a crush, we would say we'll hold it to the end of the day. But it was really at the manager's discretion. So.
Yeah.
So this store just opened in October, so they may just be adjusting. It's not like I could rush into the store, right? It's social distancing. They only let a certain number of people in at once.
Yep.
We had to wait our turn, or I had
You
to wait
talking
my
about
turn.
the Montgomery County Mall one?
What's that?
The one in Rockville?
Rockville,
The
Potomac.
The new one.
The new one,
the new
which is
store.
like half the size of any other Lego store I've ever been in.
Oh, really? Have you been to Pentagon City?
I haven't been in Pentagon City, but
It
I've been
is
in like the
small.
Flatiron. Like,
How about the Alabama one that closed?
Yeah, that one was.
yes,
big.
I haven't been in that one either.
Yeah,
But
it was.
I mean,
that
it's
was-
smaller than some of the small shops at Legoland. Like, it's
Wow.
small.
But can we just talk about how great Lego has been for the pandemic and how accommodating that they have been for people when they do go? I mean, I feel like they were only letting 6 people in at a time at the Lego store that I went to. And everybody had to stand in line and we were socially distanced, unlike other stores in the mall. And then because they wouldn't let you put your hands in the pick-a-brick wall and stack the bricks, they gave you an extra scoop of whatever you wanted.
I didn't get an extra scoop.
I got 2 extra scoops.
That may be
Dan's
manager by
just angry
manager
now.
too.
And again, I think that was, and again, I think that's discretionary by store and depending
Yeah.
on what's going on.
Oh.
Because
Maybe they
I
just
do know
liked
that-
you, Madeline. Maybe
Yeah.
they just liked you.
No, I sweet talked the little boy about that because he was like, it's so funny.
I mean, I do know that the Lego store that I frequent the most, they will if you're doing like bigger pieces, you're actually doing better by doing it now because you're not having to worry about fitting it in the cup.
Mhm.
And you can even request that, hey, I don't want the cup. Can you just pour it all into a bag?
Right. And then they just kind of guesstimate when it's in the bag.
So you're actually making out a little better with pandemic as far as Pick-a-Brick goes, if that store is doing Pick-a-Brick.
Oh yeah, and
I think it
also
depends store by store. Yeah.
with the kid that filled my cup for me, he was like filling it up to the rim, and then he was like, "Okay, like I think this scoop is gonna fit, but if not, we'll just dump it in the bag." And I think that's kind of what happened, where I got an extra scoop and a half, 2 scoops off of him.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
It was really cool.
Definitely making out on the advantage for Pick-a-Brick during the pandemic.
Yeah,
But they're only doing it
definitely
for
got it.
one more week. They're only doing it for one more week. He told me for 6 more days they'll be doing that, and then they're going to loosen up their rules on the Lego stores in America because people should be getting their shots in a week's time. Right.
So I guess I'm going to the Lego store this weekend. I'm going to see how it goes.
Yeah,
Before 6 days are up.
Just sweet talk the person who's scooping your cup. Hopefully it's a teenage boy or teenage girl this time, you know?
I bet you they're going to recant that. I bet you they're going to reverse that back again.
When
You would think.
Because ironically, Lego has been one of the first ones to close up shop quicker and close up their facilities quicker than most of the other places around here. Now, I will say, though, the state of Georgia, however, was the quickest for them to go back to opening up the Lego store. I think both of our stores here in Georgia were the first two in the country, or one of the first two in the country that did reopen back up because of Georgia's lax.
Georgia, really?
Yeah.
Laissez-faire.
Yeah.
Let the market decide.
Yeah. Not to get into Matthew's area of the world, but yeah, there were reasons why it was required. Reasons why people wanted Georgia to open up quicker, and so.
Yep.
And I think Texas was another area that opened up quicker for other reasons, political or non-wise.
The practices that so Georgia was the guinea pig of the social distancing and the Pick-a-Brick and all that stuff. So that was all tested out because the Georgia stores opened earliest.
Yeah.
And then they reevaluated to see. So like when they first reopened, and I think Dana, you were there as well, you would walk in the store and they would say you can only stand in the part of the floor that's not the yellow stripe, or maybe it was the gray stripe. Basically, they didn't want you to touch any boxes. You had to ask an employee to get the box off the shelf and carry it. You didn't touch the box until you had purchased it and it was in the bag and it was slid to you. They don't do that anymore, but they did do that when they first reopened.
I did see that in Ohio. That happened to us too. So I've only been to the Lego store twice in my Lego adult lifetime back in the U.S. And the first time they had us stand on the stripes, and if we wanted something, the Lego store employee was standing kind of right next to us, and they would be like, "Okay, you want this one?" And they would hold up the box and be like, "This is what it looks like. You want to buy it?"
Ooh, it's so pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty. I want that one. No, I want the one on the shelf. Give me the other one.
And I remember
that one looks like it's dented. I need a different
I don't
one.
want that one.
Although you know what, the fact that you're saying that they're gonna open up the Pick-a-Brick wall again, I'm gonna recant that they might keep it that way. Like, you're right that they are gonna loosen it, because now that I'm thinking about it, the CMF bags during the opening of the pandemic, it sounds like the opening of the pandemic ceremonies, that for the collectible minifigures, you basically asked for how many bags you wanted. You couldn't feel them. Where now, last month or two, anytime I've gone into the store, they're on the shelf in a box and you can feel them. So
really, the stores by
they
me,
let you touch
they
them?
pre-felt them and labeled them.
Oh, that was a night. Again, that was probably a store by store case. Ours did not. But
Sugarloaf has them on the wall.
Yeah. Well, at North Point, they were on the kiosk and you could feel them, because I helped some family. They were looking for 3 or 4 of them specifically. I'm like, oh, here, let me help you. So, the fact that they're allowing that to happen is very interesting. I can't see why Pick-a-Brick would be any different.
Oh, I got yelled at at Target for feeling the bags.
Stop filling up those bags,
Yeah.
little
I was in the toy aisle and I had a bottle of hand sanitizer. So I made sure to sanitize my hands before I did what I needed to do. But I was standing there with all of the CMF bags in my cart and I'm just like, squint. And so when Chloe came up and was like, ma'am, did you touch all of those? like, yeah.
What you should have said
right
was,
after I stuck my fingers up my nose.
what
Yeah.
you should have said is, and I licked them too.
So that's
Be like,
one,
okay, here, you take them.
that's one upside of living in a state where nobody cares. Like I was able to feel them at Walmart and I got some extras, but yeah, it's not the most sanitary thing.
Yeah, it's still weird. I mean, I got all mine by feeling, of course, feeling the bags.
But think about it. Like, I was thinking about how weird that must look, though, being an adult, feeling these toy bags.
Oh, you've
Welcome
only
to the club.
began to experience the potential humiliation that comes with being an AFOL.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
There
That's
was
all I
a few
can
weeks
say.
ago. Yeah, there was a few weeks ago. I was in a Target and some mother and her son were in there talking to one of the stock boys and trying to get something, and I was like, because I forget that I'm not an employee, but I
know
will ask
everything.
questions. I'm like, what set are you looking for? And it was the Trouble on Tatooine set, and I said, oh, that's going to be a little hard to find. They probably don't have it. Well, they say they have it in stock, and we got into this little conversation. And so I was standing there, I forget what I was looking for at the time, and so while the stock boy is looking on the phone to try and find, the mother says, she turns to me and goes, so are you an AFOL? And I was like, yes, I am. And so it started this little conversation, and it's like, and rolling back and forth this whole AFOL conversation. And of course, the stock boy turns to us and goes, what is it you're calling him? A what?
An adult
Hobbyist of Lego.
Adult hobbyist of Lego. Yeah.
That's so funny. Matt, I have a question. In bag number 3, did you get an extra 1x2 brick?
I thought I had an extra, but I always go back and check every step to see if I forgot, and I had forgotten to place it. So it wasn't extra. It was under the front steps. For me, it was under the steps. So on the front steps, there's a 2x2 brick, and there's a spot where you put the 1x2 and something else rests on it. And I skipped that.
Exactly.
So
she knows exactly what you're talking about, and she feels embarrassed that she missed it. I can tell. I've seen that look before.
That's mistake number 9.
Oh no!
Come on, let's see what are we doing?
Do we even know how to Lego? Okay, we're gonna
have to revoke your membership.
We're going to take apart the steps because I think I know exactly where this piece goes.
Correcting the mistake. Here we are.
And the proper usage of her brick separator.
Yeah, good job.
You're not using your teeth?
So speaking of the Trouble on Tatooine set, I actually found one at Barnes & Noble this past weekend and snatched one up.
Yeah, they're getting to be a little more common. They're not as scarce as they were.
Nope, not as they were. I was like, oh, I'll have one of those.
So
I need to go group.
To go with Dana's story, there's been more than one time where I've been standing in a Lego aisle at either Target or Walmart, and a parent's been looking for a set, and I was like, oh, well, they have that at this other store. I saw it there yesterday.
Yes, you're Santa Claus. That's right. Go to Gimbals.
Yeah.
I've done it where a parent was looking for something and they didn't know what set to get their kid.
Oh yeah.
I've also been there where I'm like, hey, whisper, this set is only $5. You should get this one because it's on sale.
Or I've even done they're in Target and I'll sell them. Well, this one's actually on sale at Walmart, or tell them where they can get it at the best price. My favorite story of Lego consultation, I guess we'll call that, is standing in the Lego brand retail store, and the manager is having a conversation with another adult fan or parent of somebody, and the adult fan is asking them about how they can get XYZ or whatever, and because they don't stock that or carry that in the Lego brand store, so the Lego manager will turn to me and say, Dana, would you assist and help this customer and what they're trying to find and how they can use either BrickLink or Bricks and Pieces? And so I sat there and explained to them the ways of how to do those types of things. But it was great that it wasn't like an associate; it was the manager.
Well, when I was an assistant manager at Potomac Mills, I often did that too. Told people about, go to BrickLink and do this and that.
Yep.
So it's not uncommon.
Well, no, but what was uncommon is that I am not a store employee.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if I was an associate, but I wasn't, or am not, I should say.
This is not going well. No, it's not. Can we take a look really quick together? So
okay, just take it all apart and start all over.
I pulled apart the steps and I looked underneath because I thought like, hey, maybe it's under this one, but
All
it's
right,
not.
stop.
All right.
Okay. So you see on the extreme right, in the extreme where your finger is right now.
Where it was before.
Go back before. You see where you got that little slope brick?
Yeah.
There's a 2x2 gray. Go back out to the front. Right there. Yep, right there. There's a 2x2 gray, and you should have used the 1x2 underneath. And for me, I missed it on the other side. Now that's where.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah. So look at the instructions and make sure that it matches. So for me, I skipped it on the right-hand side, but I did it on the left-hand side. So you might have to check both of them to see if you skipped it on one side or the other.
Yeah, because it's unusual that there's a 1x2 missing,
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, I could see it kind of being an extra piece, but I don't.
Yeah, it's more likely to
1x2s
be a
are
1x1,
typically
not a 1x2 that you get extra of.
I would say I've never gotten a 1x2 as an extra piece. It's always I messed up.
They both match. Like they both have the same. And in my instructions, it looks like I followed it. So.
Well, then it's not missing from that step. It might be missing from another step. I mean, that's why I just flip back through and I find every single case where I should have used a 1x2, and I go back and double check. The other case, if you're on bag 2 or 3, have you built the square thing on the right-hand side where the newsstand is going to go?
Oh, yeah.
There's a spot there where there's a 1x2. Let me see there should be a row of light gray plates that go around the top of the black bricks.
Yeah, it's there.
You got that. That's correct.
I don't know because, like I said, I it could just be something that I accidentally found on the floor, and it just like ended up there.
Right.
And right now I'm like looking at it and judging the integrity of the build, and I think not having a 1x2 plate will be okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like I'm OCD, so it really bothers me if I get to the end of a bag and I have pieces left over that I should have used. So I will obsess about it to the point where I'll check every single step. But truthfully, there have been times where I could not figure out why I had the extra piece, and I just stuck it on the model somewhere so that if I ever tore it down, it would still have the same pieces that I got.
Well, thanks for your help. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry you couldn't figure it out.
It's just one of those unsolved mysteries where you need to call in William Shatner.
Doing Lego troubleshooting on Messy Monday.
Yeah.
So is Dan still with us? No, Dan left.
No, he dropped a message in the private chat saying he had to go put his kids to bed.
Okay.
It's a small group tonight. Where did everybody go?
Well, earlier we had as many as 7 or 8 people in here at one point.
I think it was
Sorry. I woke up from a nap and was like, what time is it?
Yeah,
Just you, because if I wake up on a Monday during a nap and I'm like, forget it.
And that's why you missed the instructions last week for the
That's
chat.
why I missed the instructions. Well, actually, that wasn't a nap. That was something else. But yes, you're right. That's why I missed the instructions last week.
But during COVID, I've become a regular napper. I've become a siesta person. So I stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning, and the cat wakes me up at 7:30 promptly. And so I'm not sleeping 6-7 hours. So I take my siesta like every other day. So I'm becoming Spanish or Italian. I feel very Southern European.
I would say that COVID had not that my sleep pattern wasn't already messed up from my work schedules in general, but COVID has made it even worse to the point where 9-10 o'clock, I'm usually rolling out of bed. And then it's entirely possible at 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I might take a nap. So, yeah. Jeff or Will Hafner, do we need to get a collection going for you? Maybe a Kickstarter, get you a new webcam? What you need going on here? Will would join us if he had a better webcam.
So. Oh, I see it.
Oh, it doesn't.
Would it be one that makes him look better?
What's that?
He needs a new webcam so he can look better.
Well, no, I mean, some
That's Botox.
It has a filter.
Yeah, I was
Has
gonna
a
say
filter on it.
that's a TikTok filter right there for you.
Yeah.
One that makes me
That's
look
what I'm
like
saying.
Panda.
It sounds like he needs
Madeline
some
got it.
technical. Sounds like we'll need some technical advice from some computer smart people.
He's come back and he says it's just not hooked up yet. So all right, so we'll do better, as Julian would say. # do better, and we expect to see you on a future episode.
Just use your phone. Use your phone. I mean, Rich is on his phone most of the time.
All the time.
But
You know,
look,
I tried to do it on my computer, and then I couldn't see everybody.
but look what it does to Rich's complexion. I mean, come on.
I realized that when I was at the Lego store, I didn't look. I mean, I was in and out because there was a huge line, and I felt bad because there was a bunch of kids in the line. So I just picked up the Pick-a-Brick and this, but I forgot to look and see if they had the small flower kits. Did anyone get any of those?
I got 3 sets of the roses.
Yeah.
What? How much were they? Were they $10?
No, I think they were like $12.99 or $14.99. Was one of the two.
Oh, missed out. That's
They're-
a great deal.
Well, are they totally out at your store?
No, I just didn't check because
Yeah.
I wanted to get in and out, and then when I got in the car, I was like, "Oh, you know what? I didn't look at X, Y, and Z. It was just an in and out trip."
Yeah. So Will's $12.99.
$12.99.
And I think like my local store, it was limit 3. You couldn't buy more than 3.
Because I didn't see them on the interweb, like the Lego store.
Jeff, did you spill it? Did you spill?
Was
yeah,
it
so then I almost swore and realized, wait, I'm muted. Or I'm not muted.
Well, I just wanted to know if you dumped a bin on the floor.
I did dump a bin of 1x4 gray brick.
Is there a laptop down there?
No.
Nice. Well, I was only gonna hang out for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and we're at almost hour and 45, I think. So
Yeah, well, we had a pretty good little discussion going on there for a few minutes, and Maddie showed up late, so I thought,
Sorry.
But no, it's fine.
No. All good.
It's Messy Monday.
Messy Monday. So the conversation was going along, and I just let it go. But it does seem like we're kind of winding it down, so we might wrap it up. But thanks to all you guys for showing up, and thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. And we will be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern for Old Gray Bricks with our usual show. And Fazoom will be back on Thursday as well. He last Thursday he wasn't around much because it was Jake's birthday, and then tonight he's having some quality time with his missus. And so Thursday we'll be back to our usual show with Fazoom hosting and all that good stuff. So, or as Fazoom would say, all that jazz.
That would be a very Fazoom statement. He likes his Z's.
Jazz hands.
Yes.
It's jazz
Jazz.
hands.
So thanks everybody, and have a great evening, and we will catch you on Thursday.
Good night, everybody. Bye.